Let's get into things. We do have spawning up to the top right in the red. It is PtitDrogo.
And in the bottom left side, we have arguably my favorite Zerg streamer. He's still teamless, which is unbelievable because he's so damn good at this game. It is Lambo.
Absolutely. Phenomenal player, to be perfectly honest. It's unfortunate for Lambo that his initial or his real peak in the European scene came and then was overshadowed by the people like Serrals and Rayners when they really hit their stride.
Yep.
Any other time, he would have been absolute top.
Yeah, it's safe to say that if it wasn't for Serral or Rayner, Lambo would have probably won a couple of Premier events by now.
Yeah.
In 2018, an absolute monster, made it to BlizzCon. 2019, a pretty decent year as well. Maybe not as good as 2018 was, but still pretty good. 2020 was off to a somewhat slow start, but I feel like he's been bouncing back lately. In this group, Lambo's doing pretty good. He is 3-1 at the moment, so obviously on track for a top 2 finish. Rayner is in this group as well. He's on top with a 4-0 record. Drogo on the other end. Where do we rate Drogo right now? He doesn't like it when we make him seem like he's out of shape. He let us know that the other week in the lobby chat. But Drogo has been, I don't want to say inconsistent in this group, but he did have a rather surprising and upsetting defeat against Arthur. And that's why Drogo is 2-2 in this group right now. So for Drogo, this is a very important best of 3.
And I think, yeah, not only that, but even the series that he had against Stefano yesterday was a bit closer than he would have liked it to have been, I think is the best way to describe it. But in that last game, very, very strong initiative to be able to take the victory.
I was actually able to watch that. I mean, I had some other duties like yesterday past 8 p.m., but I did watch Drogo versus Stefano. That game on Eternal Empire was really cool.
Yeah,
all the lurkers.
Very, very fun indeed. I was looking good on my prediction, and then all of a sudden, surprise, surprise, James gets it wrong again. That's fine. I don't mind. I'm not mad. We have the Stargate on the way here for a Drogo behind all of this to get things ramping up.
Yeah, a trademark Drogo start is that he immediately, as soon as the game starts, grabs one of his first probes, sends it to the other side of the map, and that guarantees him to pretty much get the hatch block off. Lambo is doing something that is very uncharacteristic for Lambo, in my opinion, James. I know you're busy eating cheesecake and all, but he's making way more Zerglings than we normally see coming out of a Zerg.
As you said, the cheesecake can always accompany any slight strategies that we're seeing here.
The wall is open. The wall is open. The wall is going to stay open. This could be a very short game one. There is an Oracle on the way. Good pro pull, though. That's going to keep the Adept safe. But this is still going to be pretty painful because there are so many additional Zerglings coming. I like that wall off. I don't know if that's going to save the day, but I mean, the Adept is going to have to run away. We do have a Stalker out right now, though. There are so many Zerglings ready to show up, but only one more Zergling was on the other side of the wall. Drogo needs a probe here. Imagine if he could re-roll. Oh, come on,
get there in
probe.
time. Oh, he gets it. Oh, so close. Ooh. Gotta be cautious. Gotta be careful. Here's the Oracle as well to start cleaning this up too. Will push it away. He lost a few workers during that, but it is enough to get the hold.
Yep, Lambo's still building Zerglings, by the way. Lambo ain't giving up. He's like, all right, that Oracle will run out of energy, and I'm going to continue. But Drogo can just re-wall. He already has 2. Yeah, exactly. He already has 2 units on the other side of the wall. He's going to warp in 1 more unit. He is going to make sure that he's still walled off with the gateway behind that pylon. Very well done. Excellent hold here by Drogo.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, eventually, with the second Oracle on the way, unless he's really scared about anything, he can just send that across the map and start harassing these bases. There's been no creep spread between these bases right now, so it's going to be harder for Queens to really do something, but a lot of links still. Oh, he cancelled!
Yeah, but he's got the Stalker on hold position, and Stalkers are very tanky units, so I think with 2 Oracles, you're more than fine there. You'd actually like to see Lambo try, because that means that you're just going to kill 20 Zerglings. Yeah. Now it gets a little bit dicey, because obviously both Oracles are out of energy. Cancels that one as well, and he can still fully wall behind the Stalker, and Drogo's okay with this. Like, okay, if you really want to kill my Stalker at the cost of like 17 Zerglings, feel free. And look at this. It's triple Oracle, now followed up by a Void Ray. I like it.
Oh, yes. Let's get the Void Rays going. So we'll be able to move on about here, getting overlords that are on the side of this side. Actually, there's 3 overlords very close to his side of the map. So that's some free kills if I've ever seen them.
Yeah, that's not something that should happen, and this can actually be very bad for Lambo. Because obviously when you make this many Zerglings early on, your tech is going to be incredibly late. Now the Orc will show up on the other side of the map as well. The economy was already weak for Lambo, and it's about to be a whole lot weaker. Like, this is going to continue for a while, because the queen count is low. The mineral lines are so exposed, and Lambo knows it. GG gets called. Drogo will win game 1, and I gotta say, the way that he pulled the probes against the first set of Zerglings before speed was even done, that was so clutch. Because if the Adept gets surrounded there, that game is over. Because then the wall breaks very easily because there's Zerglings attacking pylons from 2 sides. But the fact that he pulled the probes in a way where the Adept was protected by it, and then he just barely bought enough time to wall, and then he barely had the other probe coming in to re-wall behind all of it. Really well done.
Yeah. It's good for Lambo, I think, almost to, just tap out, go to the next game. He was running on dry throughout the rest of that, kind of the little engagements that could go down. And then why frustrate yourself hard with trying to come back from a very hard to come back from situation?
So Drogo picks up already a very important map win. Of course, there are a lot of tie scenarios possible in these big round-robin groups. So even if he would fall short here, getting a map against Lambo is already great. But obviously, knowing Drogo, now that he's up 1-0, he obviously wants to take the best of 3 down. And Drogo does have pretty damn good PvZ, especially I feel like early mid-game, that kind of stuff. I think that's where Drogo really shines.
Yeah, got to agree. But at the same time, a little bit more uncharacteristic of Lambo to try for this strat in general, right? Like, beyond that, you would normally expect him to just try and go toe-to-toe with Drogo in terms of the macro game, try and find a mid-game pressure point. Even from there, Lambo yesterday, I think it was finding some strong mid-game positions against Protoss. So,
yeah, this is not something that Lambo just like randomly comes up with, though. That he's like, you know what, I'm going to cheese against Drogo. Like, Lambo knows Drogo very well. He knows that Drogo likes to send one of his first probes to the other side of the map to get the hatch block off. And then he also saw the way that Drogo is walling off, where he builds his stack obviously in the back of his main base. So I think it was just a response, and Lambo believes that he would get the W. And he was very close, because if he gets that Adept initially or just keeps a couple of Zerglings alive when he's fighting those probes to knock down that pylon a bit quicker, like, that was a game of seconds, and it really could have gone the other way.
Spawn up to the top right in the red. It is PtitDrogo.
And in the bottom left side, we look at the main base of the German Zerg. He's down 0-1. It is Lambo.
Arriving nice and early with the probe, going for the block. Want to try and force onto that third again, and indeed will.
Yep, especially on a map like this as well, where I feel like the third is quite far away. You gotta kind of like this if you're Drogo. This is obviously what you're aiming for. I like when he sends in the probe as well, just in case if he would have been 12 pulled or something, he would still be able to react to that in time as well. This game, Lambo takes his gas at like 108, 109, which is pretty standard if you got hatch block. You do want to have it like a little bit quicker than like 111. The last game he took it 104, and 5 seconds may not seem like a big deal, but if you're doing a speedling all in, 5 seconds is a lifetime. So it made a lot of sense that he took it a bit quicker.
And speaking of minor details, this was the game yesterday, or the map, I should say, Eternal Empire, where PtitDrogo yesterday was going for the Adept build to try and pressure Stefano. However, it was not to be too successful in the end. Now, forcing the natural, well, the first base to be that third location, maybe, an Adept opener to just try and harass that down the line could be the play.
Yes, obviously that worked out great for him yesterday on Everdream, the game that you casted as well. The thing is, though, Eternal Empire plays out very different, because Lambo could potentially wall off near the rocks, and then the Adepts only have one way to really get in. We often see some buildings go down there, and then if you go up against the Adept opening, they always have to come in from the right side, and then it doesn't matter that much whether that's your natural or your third base. So I don't know. I feel like this is a good Stargate map as well. If you like Stargate, I see no harm in playing Stargate here. And Drogo likes Stargate, and it is going to be Stargate.
Yep. Not too bad, the choice. The Adept will move on across here as well. And the Ling's already been spotted out in the middle of the map, so he knows where they're sharking around. So what are we getting? Are we getting Oracles again?
Most likely. Drogo is not much of a Phoenix boy. He used to do it every now and then when it was the meta. Everybody did the double Stargate with the +1. But I am not expecting anything too wild. I'd be super shocked to see Drogo open up with a Void Ray. He's in general not too on board with those kind of memes. So I'm expecting this to be like double Oracle and then a Phoenix maybe.
Finding drones, only weakening the different ones there though. And we'll have to shade on out. So not being able to pick up anything as the Lings will head in and have a look around themselves. Or try for a probe.
This is already nice though. I mean, we just had Elaser on the interview talk about how a lot of his builds are just like super down to the point, right? Like he knows those 20 minerals, and if something goes wrong, he's just kind of bought it and he doesn't like his game anymore. When you're forced to pull 5 or 6 probes like this, even if it's just twice for a couple of seconds, it does really mess up the timing. You're suddenly a few minerals short for that gateway, a few minerals short for the nexus, the gases. All of it becomes really annoying.
Yeah, actually, when Elaser was saying that he lost 3 Zerglings in that last game, I was like, oh, is that when your secret comes into play?
He's like, I'm too far behind. I'm out of here, okay? And it's like the other game, he's like, I lost an Overlord, so I felt I was super behind. I was like, well, we know you never Overlord Scout, but every other Zerg loses Overlords to Scout, Nico. Come on now. But no, it's always great to hear from Elaser, and that was just a really fun series.
Yeah, very cool indeed. Yeah,
oh my god, we got an update from the B stream. Sorry, I'm not paying that much attention to PGM, but Aquaron took down Denver 2-1. I mean, that is really sad for Denver, but it is just fantastic news for the rookie Aquaron in his first season. What is happening with Denver? He's 0-4 in the group right now.
Yeah, having a rough time about it. Spam your Team Roddy emotes, guys. Get it going, all right?
I'm really proud of Aquaron, though. That's such a great victory. Denver is a beast of a player, so amazing.
I got to agree. I mean, cast him many times back in the day, and he's only excelled since then. So, yeah, unfortunate for Denver to have a bit of a rough time in these groups. But we have the Oracles going for a queen of all things.
Yeah, well, I mean, that queen was a bit off creep, so it's very slow. Now Drogo is like, all right, can I get more? Can we find a couple of drones? You gotta be careful. The Oracle's kind of stuck right now, but he wants to get that queen as well, and at least he saves the Oracle. So maybe didn't get that much, but hey, a queen, 2 drones, and keeping the Oracles alive. I think I'm okay with it.
Roach Warren, Leia, so gearing up for the mid game to get this melee on the way as well. So maybe a little bit of a Roach or Ravager and Ling Flood later on down the line. The Void Ray. I mean, the thing is that if you've got Void Rays out and stuff like that, it's quite nice against these little early moves. But Spire going down 2, one shut down everything.
That's wild, by the way. That's like not typical Lambo play at all. And this is his Lambo's like, all right, I really hope he doesn't find my Spire. Because if Drogo does spot this Spire, don't forget he already opened up with a Stargate, can easily make a couple of Phoenixes, and then make a proper ground attack as well with like 2 Archons. And what are you going to do if you're Lambo against like a couple Zealots and 2 Archons? Nothing.
Not too much. Still, more Overlords get picked up here by the Void Ray. Baneliness going down. That, I mean, as you're kind of saying, like that is what I more think of for Lambo's ZVP right now. Baneliness, Lings, maybe the Roach Ravager in the middle of...
Yeah, Roach Ravager, yes, I totally agree with you. Maybe Hydra then lurkers down the line as well. I know he likes all of it, but okay, the Observer is super deep into the main base. Siege is in the main base, spots the baiting nest as well, but somehow Drogo has not seen the Spire yet. Then again, like obviously if you see the Spire, that doesn't mean you can just attack immediately, because Lambo could just ignore the Spire and build a lot of drones, but I'm really surprised to see this Spire, man. I find it very weird.
Explosion to gate. We have 7 gateways just finishing up here as well for all of this. He warped in some High Templars, some off into Archons, trying to get himself that 4th base up and running as well. Not the most aggressive of creep spreads down through the middle of the map, but eventually they'll get a truck in. Even Burrow on the way here for Lambo. Getting everything.
Yeah, I think trying to be annoying with Zergling run-bys, because he already has +1 on melee, potentially go +2 as well. Todd would not have been proud of that one, by the way. I think it's a little more like Le Explosion de Gate.
Please, no more French, please. No, Todd wanted to do some casting eventually together, and I miss good old Todd. It's been a while since I've seen Todd, in fact, to be honest.
I've seen him a couple of weeks ago in Cologne. Was
Oh, yes, you did. Yes.
came out typical Todd. He's like, "What's up?" Like, well, Todd, I'm here. He's like, "Yeah, I'm hungry." I was like, "All right, nothing's new. Nothing has changed, you know. That's good." All right, Lambo's making 11 additional drones, so I think he's kind of using these mutas just to keep Drogo at home for a little bit. He's making more mutas, so he's just going for it. He's like, "I've got a no, you can't fight near a shield battery and Archons." I don't know, man. Like, yeah, Lambo's economy is great. His army, not so great.
Yeah, kind of just a little bit of everything at the moment in here for Lambo. And if PtitDrogo does not give him an opening, there's not really going to be much happening. He's trying to find one with the Mutalisks into the natural, but there's cannons here, a shield battery, extra stalkers, even Phoenix. And Drogo's on lockdown, like we all are, I guess.
Yeah, Drogo's like, you know what? I'm sitting quite comfortably here on my 4 bases. Look at your army.
2020's all right.
And I'm not very impressed by it. Roach is not going to get much done. Drogo's going to get a few more gateways. It's going to bring him up to 13 gates. It's going to lift a couple roaches as well, why the hell not? And Lambo is going to maybe find a prism. Yes, all right. Finally, something goes Lambo's way in this series. Now, what I think Lambo's hoping for is that Drogo thinks he stopped building mutas, because that's what Zerg players normally do. And then Lambo's like, surprise, did not stop building mutas.
Well, fleet beacons on the way as well as a second Stargate here, so the Anion Pulse Crystals will come in very handy if he wants to continue going down the path of many mutas. Hive, Hydralisk Den, let's just get everything!
Yeah, I mean, 82 drones, rich Vespian gas, why the hell not? But Lambo really needs to start finding some proper damage with his mutas, though. Like, it's been nice forcing out some Phoenix and static defenses, but you need more. Can he get a Phoenix? Yes, gets the first one, gets the second one as well, gets 3 out of 5 Phoenixes. What a way to start, 4 out of 5, and now he can unpower the Stargate. This is the damage that you're looking for with your mutas.
Yeah, that was a Mutalisk flyby for anything, as these Phoenix continue to take some damage. We'll have to move on away from that. Don't want to be really next to the cannons, but can actually just take the fight straight up with them. Try to overcharge just in the nick of time. We'll focus that end up down, though, and kill off some of this static D.
Yep, and this is where the muta count is just outrageous. I mean, Drogo really messed up there. Losing 4 out of 5 mutas is a bit too much. The Archons seem to be stuck in the main base. He's trying to scramble his anti-air together. Now finally gets a lot of mutas, though, so very good job by Drogo, but there is a ground army of Lambo bouncing on this port base as well. I think Drogo's in a bit of trouble here, James.
Seems like lockdown wasn't enough. He found the opening, and Lambo is just running rings around him at the moment.
Yeah, sorry, kind of missed it there, but I believe that the Archons got some massive shots off on the mutas based upon the muta HP. This is so annoying, but Archons, by the way, they are just like us, James. Corona hit them hard. They can't squeeze through the gaps anymore.
Not fitting into their old, force fields, I guess. What are they to do, huh?
All right, so Lambo's like, you know what? I'm satisfied with the damage my mutas got done. This is it. Now I'm going to go into Hydras. And it's actually so frustrating as a Protoss player where you're like, oh, he's really serious about the mutas? All right, I'm going to be really serious against the mutas. Any Impulse Crystals, triple Stargate, +1 air weapons, and then suddenly 25 Mutalisks show, or 25 Hydras show up. And you're like, oh, well.
Yeah, that is brutal. Unfortunately, just a step behind at the moment, and now sees this army and he's got to be like, wait a minute, do I really need all these Phoenix? This is going to be an attempt to crash down this wall, but it will take a long time with just that melee. Here comes the Press of Biles as well. They're on towards a lot of those Archons. They get melted down. Picking up some of these Hydralisks out the back here with the Phoenix. It's not bad, but it's not ideal.
No, it was a really good fight for the Phoenix because the Phoenix count was so high. I mean, there is a base. No, it's a circling run, but don't forget that Lambo took out all the cannons at the third base. Yeah. So this mineral line feels a little bit exposed. I gotta say, the Phoenixes did wonders there. And Lambo is now trying to remax on 23 additional Hydras. I think all that Lambo really needs to do is get a ball of like 25, 30 Hydras. Then this Protoss army can't do anything because there is no storm.
It speaks volumes at the moment of PtitDrogo not being able to make anything then, but he's warping in 8 high Templar. The Lings are still being annoying. 12 workers have gone down. That being said, despite, losing workers here and there, he's still at 60. So it's not terrible. But, a lot is building for Lambo back home.
Yeah, I mean, right now, like this is the problem with Phoenix is like, I can't believe I just said that, by the way. Oh, I'm so sorry, Phoenix. But Phoenix are really good against low Hydra counts. But if the Hydra count gets this high, we're looking at 30 Hydras right now. How do you engage that without Disruptors, Colossus, or Carriers? Like, Phoenixes really won't contribute that much. Lambo got some really good value out of his burrowed Zerglings, by the way. That's why he was able to kill so many probes before. But like, yeah, Drogo's army looks cool. Well, it's not cool because the Archons just have no range. The Phoenixes are gonna fly in over all these Hydras. The Zealot flank though on the right is awesome. Is that good enough, James?
It might be because of picking up so many Hydralisks and negating some of that damage. Phoenix actually do a surprising amount of damage to these Hydralisks because they are light units, and so pushing it all the way back now. PtitDrogo holds.
That was a sick engagement with the Zealots. If it wasn't for those Zealots coming in from the back, that fight really doesn't go well for you there. I think even Lambo was a bit surprised about that outcome. He's like, what? How did your army do that well there? All of a sudden, Drogo's got a real fighting shot again in this game. Takes out one of the bases, but I think he feels like he needs more, and I can't disagree with him. We have another, well, 2 Muda counterattacks, so that's not that important. Hydra's on creep this time, though.
Yeah, this is going to have to move back here quite rapidly. Zealots got themselves onto a mineral line as well. And here it goes once again. Guardian shield thrown up already, focusing down some of those Phoenix as he can. But there is a High Templar up towards the top. Maybe, well, free Archon and High Templar. It's not what you want to happen. Nope. Getting the 15 drones at that 6 o'clock base. That is pretty sweet, though. Drogo's got quite some money. I don't know. Do you think Drogo's aware of the fact that he doesn't have Storm? I can only assume no. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I mean, he does keep warping in all of his High Templars into Archons immediately, so I assume in that way he... Okay, now he gets Storm. He's like, all right. Like, with Storm, Drogo is actually in an amazing position, but Lambo could potentially maybe hit a timing before Storm kicks in. I do like these Zerglings getting a kill, actually, on the Nexus on the top side of the map, while Drogo is busy harassing with Zealots on the left. This is also turning into one hell of a... James, you are just my lucky charm, aren't you? A lucky charm? Yeah, I can do it for you. I can do it, no problem. I mean, yesterday was a bit wild as well when it came to the games in general, so... and Fear Dragon's beat down before, so... I guess I'm here for the good games, Roddy. I'm here for the good games. Yep, can't believe that's actually a thing, but it's really turning into a thing. Drogo has picked up a couple of his High Templars with Storm. Obviously, he's going to do well, but the Lurk Den is on the way. This game is about to get real feisty because there's Hydras on the high ground right now. That's a really sweet position for Lambo. I think Drogo needs to take care of this. On the other end, Drogo's like, no, I want to fight. I know I've done economic damage. I want to deal more economic damage. Yeah, I thought he had High Templars in the prison, but he had Zealots in the prison. Yeah, the High Templars are sat at the back at the moment, accruing a little bit of energy wherever they can. There's still a lot of Hydralisk on this map, though. And, well, he's trying to get himself the Lurker upgrades going as fast as he possibly can. Lambo, he's shut all the PtitDrogo's economy down for the most part. Yeah, but his Hydras are also stuck, and Lambo is on 50 drones, so this is not an army that Lambo can really afford to lose, but he is going to lose it, man. Drogo is just playing one hell of a game. Burrow is being used there one more time, but 26 drones went down. I feel like this is it for Lambo, but you can't really attack off creep into Storm. He needs to sing this one out until he gets Lurkers and stuff, but... Lambo's in so much trouble. Yeah, definitely so. This is not the best of armies to have against. Ooh, wait a minute. That's a lot of Lurkers. With 16 Lurkers, you might be able to survive, but there is nothing to tank for these Lurkers, though. Yeah. Then again, 16 Lurkers is 16 Lurkers, so maybe they need nothing to tank. I don't know, but I do know that this becomes very important. Lambo cannot afford to take more economic damage. He needs to keep drones and bases alive. Problem is he can't relocate the Lurkers that quick because he doesn't have the speedy burrow. So, like, when a storm hits them, they're going to be sat in it for quite a while here. As they're already on top of them, the Archons actually getting on top of these whilst they are unprotected by any other unit. But as you mentioned before, they don't really have much to protect them. Not that many Lings are out on the map right now. They're trying to get about a few 30 more on. But a base kill, the Zealots are doing work down to the bottom too. It's all coming up Drogo. Yep, this is everything that Drogo really wanted. More economic damage. He doesn't get the hatchery, gets awful close to it. Lambo is trying to return the favor on the other side of the map, and he might get a few more probes, but it's just not enough. Drogo even starts building Tempest. I'm normally... Oh, Lurkers, up. They still don't have adaptive talents, but it's about to finish up. That's going to make them a lot more terrifying. It's just, can Lurkers alone really win the game? Yeah, I don't know about that one. Hydra's coming down to try and complement them. Ling run-bys as well. Armies are moving through the middle of the map, getting perilously close to one another as they will run into each other.
Oh,
There's the adaptive talents. Get out there.
Yep. I mean, Drogo's building Tempest. The problem is he just lost a couple of probes on the top side. He's losing the base on the right side as well. The Zerglings are going ham. I mean, if Lambo had money for 1 or 2 Vipers, that'd be so big. But now the first Tempest is revealed, and I wonder if Lambo feels like, okay, he wants to run into the Tempest. He has a couple of Hydras on the ground. Lurkers run forward as well. Can Lambo steal this game?
Hey, might be able to. I'm gonna have to move away from this position for the moment here. A little bit scared about being stormed from out of range, and will find himself an alternate angle. He still has units on the high ground, I think, above the Rich Vespian Geyser.
Man, Lambo's been getting a lot of value out of his little burrow, actually. So we have 2 Archons in the net show. I guess they got dropped off by that War Prism.
Will eventually get pushed away. Nothing really to chase it, unfortunate. These Zealots were trying to cordon off these Hydras. 2 more Tempest about to pop.
Still 15 Lurkers, but yeah, if the Tempest count gets at 4, like, I'm not a big fan of Tempest, but obviously Tempests are super good in low eco games where your opponent just cannot afford to replace units that they lose. And well, Tempests are absolute key in those scenarios because they've got the range. Lambo knows that he can't really sink this out, so he wants to get forward one more time. There's so little anti-air on the side of Lambo. I say that there's 18 Hydras on the map. Where are they?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a few here at the front. They're all going to be kind of moving forward to try and complement this. There's a big storm actually going down on quite a bit of that, doing some damage there.
Oh my god, sorry James, but Lambo just sniped the War Prism in the natural with 2 Archons inside of it as well, so that's where he left 6 or 7 Hydras behind. Now he's getting 2 Vipers as well. I don't know how Lambo is doing this of 36 drones, but he's getting the units that he needs.
Lurkers making it happen. I mean, they slowed down a lot of what PtitDrogo was wanting to do before all of this was said and done. Little Hydra's going to complement it. The 3 Tempests, though, if they do not get dealt with, this is going to be slowly picking away at it.
Get that hatchery, right? Like, wouldn't you think, Drogo, yeah. That hatch has like 100 HP and it's the most important base for Lambo. It's the only real running base at this point. Drogo is double expanding at 12 o'clock and once again on the right side as well. This is a really cool game as well, James.
Yeah. Getting a bit scrappy at this point, but it's still very cool. Like the idea that both of these players are fighting tooth and nail. They're dead even in terms of supply right now to try and keep themselves both in this. Lambo, of course, especially is really wanting to push this to a game 3. And here comes a wave of Zealots. No, they're not.
Almost. I mean, Lambo knows about the bases that Drogo is taking again. He had vision of it. I think he was just trying to get all the energy he wanted. Lambo is sending a couple of units to the top as well, but the main fight is taking place. That is a juicy storm. The Vipers are here. If Drogo lands 2 feedbacks, I think that could actually do it for him. I think that could win the game, but Lambo's not going to make it easy.
Yeah, and as long as he doesn't go too far forwards with those Vipers, the High Templars will not be in range unless they actually want to get hit by a volley from those Lurkers. So, got to be very, very dicey about this position. Wants a few abducts on towards Tempest. Going to go for them. Good feedback onto the first one. 1 Tempest will get abducted in the process, though.
I think I'm okay with that for Drogo. You lose 1 Tempest, but you take care of both Vipers. Now you push into the Lurker army as well. And this is just damage that's really hard to respond to. At the same time, though, Lambo is going to win this fight on the top side of the map. I assume Drogo's aware of it, and that's why Drogo is going to recall. Has the Zealot flank come in as well. So Drogo is going to take care of all of these units. He loses a lot of Zealots in the process, but hey, I guess that's what Zealots are for, right?
Yeah, the meat shields, the sacrificial lambs there, so everything else can do its job. That's a big storm. Oh.
Ooh. Wow. Drogo's playing a sick game. Really, really, really well done.
Needs a hurricane warning at this point. We're going to have another charge in here from these, but they're actually going to get shredded up by these Lurkers quite quickly. It's all the other units that are going to have to do the big damage. There's not that many Lurkers left. GG, PtitDrogo will take